Okay. All the school building committee meeting order also. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda adjustments. We know agenda adjustments for the school committee. This building, this meeting is being recorded because we have remote participation. All our votes will be done by roll call. Well, there will be no agenda adjustments for the school building committee. This meeting is being recorded because we have remote participation. All of our votes will be done by roll call. Agenda items tonight. First one is, are there any any comments tonight from the public for the school building committee? No one here, saying none. And the next on our agenda is to approve the minutes of the November 20th, 2024 school building committee meeting. A motion by Situate, second by.
I apologize, I wrapped these up this afternoon, I did not email them, so the members on Zoom do not have access to these. We'll just abstain, I guess.
Yep.
And it's on the second page of the sheet that was in front of you, the back page, highlighting the
Okay. Motion made by Situate, second by Abington, thank you. Any discussion on the minutes? And hopefully everybody on the phone heard that you guys can abstain from the motion. I'll take a roll call vote. Bob Hayward, yes. Tom Hickey,
Yes.
Sandy Baldwin,
Yes.
George Cooney,
Yes.
Jim Coughlin,
Yes.
Bob Mahoney,
Abstain.
Jack Manning,
Yes.
Bob Mello,
Abstain?
abstain, Joe Zambello,
Yes.
Tom Petroselli.
Yes.
Daddy, can you put my picture on?
Dan,
Yes.
yes,
Sorry, I'm late.
that's all right, Dan. Pete Boyle
Yes.
and Frank Muller will abstain. The motion carried. Next on our agenda is a motion to adjourn. I'll entertain.
Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, I'm sorry for
No, that's
interrupting you. Frank, Dustin and Bob, I don't know if you have your phones with you, I texted you the minutes. I don't know if you want to be recorded in favor of that, if you have access to it. If not, your abstentions can stay.
I'll vote in favor of the minutes as they are presented. I got the text message.
Okay, it'll be Frank, is a yes.
Dustin.
Dustin, I think,
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking at them as well right now, and I have no objections to them, so I would change my vote to a yes, please.
okay, thank you, Robert.
You're welcome.
That motion carries.
And Frank, I don't know if he's unmuting.
Yes, I have no problem with it.
Okay, and Frank Muller here. Thank you, gentlemen.
Both are.
The only other thing we have is a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Rockland, second by Abington. Call the roll. Bob Hayward, yes. Tom Hickey,
Yes.
Sandy Baldwin,
Yes.
George Cooney,
Yes.
Jim Coughlin,
Yes.
Bob Mahoney,
Yes.
Jack Manning,
Yes.
Bob Mello,
Yes.
Joe Zambello,
Yes.
Tom Petroselli.
Yes.
Dustin Reardon,
Yes.
Dan Delbucci,
Yes.
Keith Boyle,
Yes.
and Frank Muller.
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Now on to the school committee.
Thank you, sir. That was a tough one, huh?
It's at a record.
Okay, agenda items for the school committee. Let's see, public comment. Is there any public comment? Seeing none. Student report. Next we will hear from our student representatives, Fenway Valiente. Did I say that right?
Yep, perfect.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Samantha Valiente. I'm a junior in the culinary arts program. You might recognize me from events as I volunteer a lot in the food trailer. I'm actively involved at SST. I'm a student council member and aspect volleyball. It's my pleasure to update you on student life at Southwood High. As far as the athletic update, winter sports have begun and we have just above 150 students on rosters all across our teams. Girls basketball is off to a 2-1 start with wins against Rising Tides Thunder and Avon High School. Boys basketball is 1-1 in the season so far with a win last night versus Sturgis Charter Beats. Leading scorers for the girls and boys basketball teams are Sienna Chapones and Emily Johnson. They look up to keep both strong and sharp on Friday as both teams take on Tri-County. Ice hockey is also off to a good start tonight as well, as they beat West Bridgewater last Saturday and they're taking on Warrenton tonight. Wrestling, swim and dive, co-op with Norwell, have also started their season well. Wrestling is 3-1 in the season and swim teams have won their only match so far this season. The Skills USA update has 2 incoming fundraisers. January 23rd is paint night, 6-8 p.m. in Farmington, Hanover. And January 31st is Colony Shop at 7 p.m. in Blair's. The FFA update. The 17th, South Shore Tech participated in the FFA turf competition at UCT. We are rating results. FFA qualifiers for the upcoming state convention will take place this week. The 19th, FFA members will also be participating in an FFA leadership event at Silver Lake. The student equity group is planning a movie night and it's being scheduled for the last week of January. Rotational programs. The 19th, there's going to be a pop-up sale from 9:30 to 1 p.m. in various programs in cosmetology, culinary arts, graphic design, visual communications, horticulture, landscape and construction, metal, packaging. And the 16th of January, we have DV open house, inviting our current students and families to a shop to walk around and see the program and work with it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Anyway, before you can sit and answer this question, there's a live owl here you can find out. So thank you, Fenway, you did a beautiful job. I'm glad that you're here. Fenway is also a student council member who I'm hoping will join us again next month.
Absolutely.
And as we've done in the past, I always want to ask our students, you know, a little bit about their experience at South Shore Tech. So Fenway, tell us a little bit about highlights of your experience so far.
I've had many highlights at South Shore Tech. I think it's the best school I could have ever chosen to go to. If I had to choose one, I'd say my related class. Going to related, I always have a smile on my face. I learn a lot. And it teaches me a lot more than I've ever learned in some of my past classes in middle school. And it helped me find my spark. I wanted to go into culinary for a private chef, and now I'm really into food science.
Very good. Thank you for your report.
Well, that was awesome, but she's not gonna stay for the whole meeting, so I'm gonna ask her to write out.
Sure.
Would you like to stay? You can stay.
My mom's not gonna be here for a while, so okay.
There's one you like.
Same here. Okay, next we have our staff spotlight. We'll ask Sandy or Keith to.
Sure, the staff spotlight this month is a new staff welcome. We have several new folks joining us since the last time we reported in October. We had Stephen Wallace, alumni, joining us as a new electrical teacher. We had a long-term sub supporting us, Nicole Gomes, who comes to us via a stay at home after 2 children, but a long career in Boston Public Schools. We have instructional aide Caitlin Wallace, who is also an amazing volleyball instructor who runs a really great program, you know, as well. And we have coming on board just after New Year, a new allied health teacher, Katie Coulter. So we welcome all of them.
Thank you. You have anything, Keith?
Yes, are we doing the administrative reports right now, or is that further down?
Administrative, we're on the staff spotlight. Yeah, we can take them.
So,
You
want me to read them off?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm happy to report out on several topics. One is South Shore Tech was awarded a lab modernization skills capital grant. We were awarded $750,000 to purchase and update equipment in our HVAC and metal fabrication welding program. So we have started the procurement process on that. That is a 2-year grant. So we have the next school year to spend that down, but we have to make sure 60%, at least 60% of the grant is spent down this school year. Regarding exploratory, happy to report that exploratory has ended for grade 9. And the students have been placed in their respective shops at this point. Happy to also indicate that 91.2% of the freshman students landed within their first or second choice. Pretty high number, and shows how well the programs did overall and the students themselves on their grades. Happy to report out that our Career Technical Institute Initiative Program, the CTI Evening Program, is graduating tomorrow. So they have their class of 66 students, which is 93% of the enrolled participants that will graduate and walk across the stage tomorrow night. Happy to report out that that program, since it started in 2022, has an 81% success rate with 181 graduates out of 223 students. And I'm also happy to indicate that we are starting our next cohorts, January 21st, where we will run 6 additional cohorts for the spring semester. And based on a phone call this afternoon, we are seeking and being awarded a extension of the grant into next school year for $500,000 at this point that will bring us through January of 2026. So great news regarding CTI, the night school. A couple other things I just wanted to mention. In addition to Fenway's report, we haven't actually reported out on the FFA National Convention results, so I want to update the committee that the horticulture nursery landscape team took 2nd place in the nation out of 43 states. The 4 students that represented that team were Jeremy Jackson, Tommy Guy, Reese Hughes, and Todd Egan. Jeremy Jackson placed 10th place in the nation. So that was a great accomplishment for those. In addition, our floriculture team came in 13th place out of 48 states. And those 4 students that represented that team were Logan Peralt, Jackson R., Lily Grabowski, and Lucas Salvucci. So congratulations to all 8 students that attended the convention. 2 other quick things. I want to give a congratulations to the manufacturing engineering technology seniors who took 1st place in a Project Green Schools Innovating for the Future competition that took place at the end of November at Boston University. Again, they took 1st place and they were awarded a $5,000 award for placing 1st. This is the 1st time we've been invited to that, 1st time we've competed in that. We look forward to competing that again next year. And I also want to give a congratulations to the folks who helped organize a very successful toy drive. It was a school-wide initiative. We were able to deliver well over 500 toys to DCF in Brockton. And I have to give a round of applause to Eddie Costa, Lisa Bellantoni, and Paul Bello, and all the others who were involved in that initiative.
Thank you for your reports.
Thank you.
Tom, do you want to, excuse me, interruption, I have an additional information if you want, do you want me to do it in your report?
Yeah, see you now, you wanna.
No, we can, if you want, just continue,
Okay,
if
great.
that's all right, Mr. Chair.
We'll keep on keeping on.
Perfect.
A few things I want to make sure that you're aware of, there's an update from the school council. As I've been reporting, we have been focusing on increased attendance, which we have done by partnering with CPAC in November. The CPAC, School Council, and the Parent Association combined to provide a seminar to parents on topics of phones in schools. And we also talked about an overview of the student services suite, and we talked about how to talk with teens with difficult conversations. So that combined effort had over 20 in attendance, which is a great a number for that organization. Most recently in December, we have made a good headway in reframing our phone policy and earbud policy for presentation for staff in January, review in the community in the spring, and some adjustments and changes to be shared with students and families over the summer. We also are ready to implement a school service expectation in semester 2. We have developed a platform, procedures, and a framework for implementing there as well. So we're excited about those things. Also wanted to give you a nod about the South Shore Tech Hall of Fame. We will be having our biannual Hall of Fame breakfast in May, as we do every other year. And we'll be reaching out to all of you to start thinking about staff, alumni from South Shore Tech who should be recognized at that event to encourage applicants. You'll see coming soon, but likely just after the new year, a Google form on Facebook and directly to you. But if you would like to email me directly or let Susan know of some folks who you think are deserving of that, don't hesitate to do that for them as well. And the South Shore Tech, we have updated our program of study to reflect what's happening in our classrooms today, and you'll be able to find that document on our school website. Finally, an update from our admissions, as Keith made a mention to, Mr. Boyle made a mention to, that our students are placed in their programs. In the same breath, or the next breath, we have begun our first round of admissions for our next class of students entering in September. Those admissions happen as we complete interviews in each of those towns, and so some students have already been invited, and we have over 450 applications in the bank right now.
Thank you.
See, I have to ask you a question. Sure. So that I'm new to this still, that 450, is that more than a normal year, or is that?
It continues to increase. Last year, we were hovering around 400.
That's great.
Any other questions?
Said on the Hall of Fame, is that going to be athletic, or is that academic, or is that just both?
It's alumni staff. It's all alumni staff Hall of Fame, and it we recognize anyone who's contributed to the South Shore Tech community as a staff member. So we alumni coaches.
As a staff member only?
As,
No, that's it.
as a staff member.
Any other questions? Thank you. Moving on. Okay, next item is approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the November 20th, 2024 school committee meeting.
So moved. Yeah. I'll second it.
Okay. Better find it. I've already- Any discussion? Okay, I'll take the roll. Abington,
Yes.
Cohasset,
Yes.
Hanover,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Marshfield,
Yes.
Norwell,
Yes.
Rockland, I wasn't here. Okay, abstain. Rockland.
Thank you, abstained.
Hmm. Oh. Situate, yes. Whitman.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes with one abstention. Okay, we'll move on to reports. I'll ask the motion, let's see, we're working at Jim to make his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This month's treasury report on the cover, we have the Santa Claus with the missing head. We were able to reconnect the head and put it back over in front of the Hanson Fire Station, I guess. And also just a little group picture of all of our seniors from the Allied Health Department that they took. Cash balance is 2.1 million right now. That's before a lot of the money comes in for some of the membership assessments. Revenue, $1.4 million came in for the town assessments. A couple towns were struggling, but that's that money, most of it came in so far in December. And down below, we just have the big ones on major chapter 70 payment from the state of $488,000 for total revenue for the month of $1.9 million. Expenses for the month totaled $1.2 million. It's a normal back to 2 payrolls this month, $900,000. So the payroll runs about $450,000 every pay period. Everything else looks to be normal. No surprises in the budget and the spending. And then you have another wave of software and other licenses that get renewed every time this year. So yeah, everything's good. And that is it.
And, that's a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Motion to accept the grant. Second by Harold. And open one. Okay, any discussion? Okay. I'll take the roll call. Abington,
Yes.
Cohasset,
Yes.
Hanover,
Yes.
Hanson,
yes,
Marshfield,
Yes.
Norwell,
Yes.
Rockland. Yes. Situate, yes. Whitman.
Yes.
Okay, that's all votes for. Next. Do we have any budget transfers?
We do have one this month. We have a transfer from our technology line item into our software licenses. Line item is just reclassifying some of the renewals that we have during the course of the school year. $7,000.
Okay. I'll ask for a motion to. So moved. Whitman. Second? Second. Am I ready? Abington,
Yes.
Cohasset,
Yes.
Hanover,
Yes.
Hanson,
yes,
Marshfield,
Yes.
Norwell,
Yes.
Rockland. Yes. Situate, yes. Whitman? Yes. Okay. Anything under other updates? Jim?
Just a couple things, every year we go through an annual audit by the workers' comp insurance companies, and, that just wrapped up, everything's good. Our payroll's up a little bit more, so we owe a couple of dollars on workers' comp insurance, but, that's just expected. And our auditors, Bruce Norling and, Jennifer, they're just talking by tomorrow to continue to update us on all of our, financials and so forth, to get the reports out and ready for that, when we go for the bonding, everything should be in place, so.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Okay. Now we'll turn it over to the superintendent director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Brief report tonight. First of all, I want to say thank you to all members who played a role in their respective special town meetings. With Marshfield's town meeting as of Monday night, we have secured 8 affirmative votes for our regional agreement amendment. We were at Abington's town meeting. Unfortunately, they couldn't secure a quorum. And so it's not required that they revisit the matter. So, the amendment has been approved at the local level. It would have been required to get at least 6 of 9 communities. So now what we're doing is we're gathering the certified town clerk certifications that the vote took place. And then we will send it in to the Department of Education. I've already alerted the regional schools office. And they will review the documentation we send, and then it will go to the commissioner, the acting commissioner, for action to be taken. So thank you for all of your work in being present and in assisting with our conversations. It was a year-long process to get to this point, so I'm grateful for your help. The second item I wanted to mention for the fiscal 26 budget calendar is I'll talk to Jack a little bit and ask you all to look at your Wednesday calendars. The governor's chapter 70 aid proposal comes out typically at the end of January. And this month, it's slated to come out no later than January 22nd. So we'll be looking at potentially having 2 meetings within a shorter window of time, possibly a meeting after the numbers come out, perhaps the 29th. And then what we also do during this window is we have a public hearing on our budget, which we'll publish in the local newspaper. And then we will need to certify a budget. It doesn't mean we can't change the budget as the financial situations emerge, but we have to certify what is essentially a high watermark on a budget no later than 45 days before the first town meeting. You may have heard me say this around this time every year. We typically have one or more communities who have town meetings early, relatively early, so that's April 7th or April 14th. I see possibly town meetings, one I think is definitely booked in, so I'm operating under the premise that we work backwards from April 7th, so that puts us probably February 12th. So again, we'll reach back out, we'll look at your calendars. I will send you some preliminary budget information before then. Right now, what I'm looking at is essentially what we would call a level services budget, with some adjustments if necessary in our capital budget. The only capital item I'll be bringing to you will be funds that we will continue to set aside for bus lease purchases. If for some reason the numbers don't work, that would be my first priority. I'll tell you that we would simply reduce that line and live to fight another day on how to best put money aside for that. But we're looking to always have enough money in stabilization so that if we do go out and lease buses, we won't see a spike in the budget. We'll always have some stabilization money to offset that. That's a short version of what I'm likely going to tell you as we get closer to that. So thank you for that and your upcoming flexibility. Last item I want to mention that's not on here, is that at the end of this calendar month, my assistant and your assistant, Susan Rossi, is going into, let's put retirement in air quotes. That will, in other words, through the end of December, she'll be here in person. And then she's gonna transition over to a part-time role, mostly working remotely. So she will continue to assist in all matters of the school committee, and certainly since 2011, assisting the superintendent to keep him on track. So I know that we will find an opportunity, although Susan's not a willing participant to be recognized, but let the record show that that I know this committee very much appreciates her, and many committee members have asked me to find as many legal ways as possible to get her to not do this. Nevertheless, we know how much we appreciate Susan's efforts, and certainly she's not leaving entirely, but her day-to-day role will change, and we'll find a way to get her back here to be properly recognized in front of this committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Okay, new business, MASC delegate assembly follow-up.
Yeah, before I read my report, sorry I was late, but it's Christmas time, and I just happened to get some little trinkets. And I got so many that I put in a little plastic bag. Oh, yeah. You bring a trailer with you when you went down there? All little trinkets. You know, sir, thank you. You'll play always.
Welcome to the committee, Joe.
Yeah. Did everyone get one? Yeah. Alright, well, I have a couple extra. Because they're not here. There we go. My pleasure. For some reason, I thought the meeting was starting at 7, that's what I had on my calendar, until I went online and said, oh my god. Whatever. Then look at it when you get home. Okay, the meeting was in.
I'm giving my wife for Christmas.
Yeah. The meeting was in November, and it went Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Wednesday, I went to a couple of different sessions. One was unique challenges in regional schools. And basically what it was talking about is each school should be able to explain, when you go to town meeting, should be able to explain their budget at their annual town meeting. When explaining your budget, always be open to all questions and do not hide spending, like some schools do. And then there was a second one, navigating changes, effective communication for operational overruns. As the state budget decreases, educational budgets increase. There are growing needs for towns to pass operational overrides to keep level service, mitigate loss of services. I'm finding that that's happening in all the South Shore towns this year. I mean, even last night at our meeting, we discussed about having a debt inclusion. Not actually, excuse me, an override. But we'll see what happens. That's up to the people. Then Thursday, one of the meetings that I went to was let's get real with comprehensive approach to race, equity, access, and leadership. And some of the issues that they talked about is putting a time limit on meetings. Parents' complaints on their child's issues that were mishandled. We've had that in the past and we dealt with it very well. Parents have the freedom of speech, but they must be respectful of their language. Students' rights should be recognized as a different sex than on side notes. This issue is being looked at by the courts. Teachers' postings on social media need to be dealt with at the school level. And then vocational technical issues, part 1 and 2. Well, low funding for schools due to the increase in educational costs for vocational schools. That was one of the issues we talked about. More funding towards the cost of building new and bigger vocational schools due to the increased enrollment, which is, I pushed for that, I've been pushing for that for a couple of years now. And it's finally starting to come around, so they're going to the state. And then we need to get in touch with our senators, our representatives, to invite them to witness the needs of vocational school. Another course that I went to was on legal issues. Must know potential rights when dealing with their children, school systems. During collective bargaining, this is something, I'm not too sure if I agreed with this, but during collective bargaining, don't have limits when either side can make proposals and or requests. Usually we have, by the third time, we want to know all the requests so that when we discuss what we're gonna do in the budget, what we can afford, we know what they're looking for. Not this last minute, oh, we want this, oh, wait a minute, we can plan for this. So I kind of disagreed with that, but that was me. And I always make sure both sides understand the requests that I made. And then Friday, I went to the general session, the entire meeting was all about technology, i.e. computers and internet and their good and bad influence on learning. There are some issues with testing and looking up the answers. On the other hand, it can also help students doing their homework to understand the teachings of that day. And I guess there's a new tool out in teaching, it's called A1 tool, short for technology intelligence. And then on Friday, the last day there was the list of resolutions. There was Kenneth. One was development of alternative to high stake MCAS tests. The resolution passed with no issues, and I believe it was on the state election, right, and it passed through the state. Then another was to increase the compulsory attendance of age from 16 to 18 years old. The resolution passed with some discussion on amending the age to 17 years, which failed, and it stayed as written to 18. Resolution 3, resolution on student safety, firearm safety. This resolution is just asking for superintendent to seek issues of protection in schools for firearms, and also for parents to do the right thing about firearms. School bus stop, Surveillance Act and enforcement penalties. This is something we've discussed for the last 2 to 3 years, and for some reason, they pushed it aside except for this time. I guess they're asking the legislature to pass laws for cameras on all school buses and enforce the violators for non-stopping the school buses while their stop signs go out. And we have cameras on our buses, right? So, then resolution 5 was to grant the town, this is how, to grant a town to raise the state mandated levy limit from 2.5 to whatever the town needs to raise revenues mandated by the Mass General Law, Chapter 70. This is something that I really talked about and I was not in favor of it, because what they're doing is they're asking the state to allow towns to be able to raise the 2.5, or, go over the 2.5 levy limit for school issues. So in other words, if the school says, I need X amount of money, the town or the city can only afford X amount, they're allowed just to raise the levy limit just for the schools. I talked against that, I put on my selectman's hat, saying that the fact that if you did something like that, schools need to understand that when they budget what they need. And not, it's not an open book. And by doing this, schools will go for whatever they want and just say to the town, raise the levies for us. And it's not the right way to go. Then we support legislation for, physical health of
Actually,
rural
Mr.
school
Chair,
districts.
Matt, I'm sorry, to cut you. How did that resolution end up, the one that you just described on the 2.5?
Okay, it was 26 nay, it passed 60 yeses and 26 noes.
Thank you.
Alright. Then the next one, 6, was to support legislation to improve physical health of rural school districts. A lot of rural schools don't have a lot of kids in school, right? And they may not be regional, and they're just not getting the money and they can't support their schools. So they're asking the state to increase the schools that are in that situation. Then fully adjusting chapter 70A for inflation. This is asking to amend the chapter 70 funding to be adjusted for inflation costs to education. Current chapter 70A does not cover the increased costs to cover school needs. And see, they say school needs, which passed, with the present chapter 78. This passed without a problem. The 8th one was unique funding, equitable funding for non-regional school districts with higher transportation costs. This change was used for transportation needs, purchase of like new buses, maintenance of buses, fuel costs, driver salaries. That passed. 9, my favorite one, vocational technical school groups. This is will evaluate the tier system to separately assess and evaluate the cost of elementary school, high schools, and buildings of vocational, technical, and agricultural schools. This will result in true costs and reimbursements for those schools in those schools category, which passed. And then expansion of the capacity of chapter 74 vocational technical programs. This will allow towns to ask the legislature to support and the expenditures of the current access to vocational technical school system and work with the district that lack the access to vocational school systems to create programs, which passed. And they voted new officers from ARPA. The president is Dr. Denise, I guess, Pigeon. Vice president is Aaron Pawlowski. Treasurer is Dr. Karen Maguire. Secretary clerk is Eric Duda. And we just mediated the past president, Dr. Heidi Fund. And that's basically it.
Mr. Chair, I just make a note that the MAVA treasurer, Karen McGuire, the superintendent of Tri-County, is a South Shore Tech graduate.
Yeah.
From back in the day.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, Mr. Chair.
Any questions for Dan?
No, I'd like to thank Dan for going down.
Very good job. Vote on this.
Yeah, I mean, one of the sections that I went to was talked about. Because of the presidential race and how difficult it was and how people were on one side or the other, and they were expressing their emotions at home. The kids were picking up on it and it was causing elementary school, middle school, and was causing issues in schools. Of kids having that attitude. And the parents should need to understand that their personal feelings and their arguments of something like that should not be passed on to their kids. Excuse the spelling.
Okay, next item, donation. I'd ask for a motion to accept the donation of a 2002 Land Rover.
Oh, nice, motion.
Second.
Whitman and Cohasset. What do you want, a Land Rover?
Yeah.
For the automotive department.
Yeah. It's a-
Yeah.
I see my son,
Any discussion? Seeing none. Abington,
Yes.
Cohasset,
Yes.
Hanover,
Yes.
Hanson,
yes,
Marshfield,
Yes.
Norwell,
Yes.
Rockland, yes. Situate, yes. Whitman,
Yes.
okay. Item passes unanimously. Request for action, are there any requests for action? Nobody?
Just like to thank culinary program, and the hospitality coming up to participate in the walk and stroll was a great turnout. And I just want to thank them for that continued things that what you do is they go up there and there's a great turnout for people from the field and so Suffolk was there as well, so passing out brochures and pamphlets and answering questions for people, so.
Yeah, that's the thank you for them being at the Hanson Day. And truck was really nice. You know, for Hanover, when they were at the Four Corners, yeah. Heck of a job.
Excellent.
You're
Our
good.
best.
Any others?
And the restaurant looks great, you haven't been down there.
Yeah, it does.
It's been great.
They did a nice job.
Okay, motion to adjourn the school committee meeting.
And all due respect, motion.
Second,
Second. Oh, Abington.
Yeah, second.
we'll give it to Abington.
Yeah, Abington.
It's all himself. Okay, Abington,
Yes.
Cohasset,
Yes.
Hanover,
Yes.
Hanson,
yes.
Marshfield,
Yes.
Norwell,
Yes.
Rockland, yes. Situate, yes, and Whitman, obviously. Meeting adjourned unanimously.